Welcome. This is a quick introduction to ArcGIS ArcMap. You'll be making use of this software quite a lot during EVB 203, and so there's a number of little quirks and basic features that just have to be covered, and this is a quick way for me to do that so that everybody can refresh or revise when an issue arises. You'll find ArcMap in the Windows search bar simply by typing in Arc in the bottom corner. You can either click the Start button or press the Windows key, and in the case of this subject you'll be using ArcMap 10.6. Once you've clicked on it, you should get a startup screen that looks something like this. Once ArcGIS has loaded, you'll be greeted with a screen like this one here. It'll have Untitled at the top left corner. It's opened a map. This is a mapping software for creating cartographic products. We can also do geospatial analyses and geoprocessing in this software package. But you'll get a getting started screen. And once you've created a few maps of your own, you'll end up with some recent documents in this window here, but for the moment we can just click cancel. So this is the interface that we'll be using, and there are a number of things that are a function of ArcGIS and its licensing, software licensing. The first of those is that normally every time you log in to a computer you will need to go in and activate the tools that you're likely to need. So we can find that under our Customize button at the top here and under Extensions, and you will need to select all of the extensions and simply click Close. That just activates the extensions, and when it comes to needing to do spatial analyses or geostatistical procedures, you'll need those extensions to be activated. Okay, so now that we've activated our extensions, every time you log in and your profile renews, you'll have to undertake that brief step. We're going to have a look at the file properties of the map that we've got open here. So if we click on File and go to Map Document Properties, we'll see a list of attributes that you can enter and save. We don't have a file name as yet because we haven't saved our file, but you can include a description, a summary, your name in as an author, any credits that are required. And at the bottom here we have two options. One of them is path names, store relative path names to database. Make sure that that's checked. The second is that ArcGIS is a spreadsheet and database software. The geospatial data that we're collecting is stored in database files, and so we need to store files that we create along the way while we're processing or creating or editing data. We have to have somewhere to store that. Now, ArcGIS automatically creates a default database for us, but it places it on our H drive. It creates a database called default, and because it's on the network and not locally held on a C drive, it means that this database will open up for you from any computer at QT that you're using ArcGIS on, but it is very, very slow to update and transfer data. So it's always best to create your own database at a local location. This is why I've required people to have a USB drive. It will make your work much faster and much safer to store and transport and work on by having a local geodatabase. Fortunately, we don't need to know about how that structure is created or anything else. We can just simply create a new file geodatabase up here, and in this case I'm going to connect to my USB drive here. So this is my USB drive, and I've created a folder EVB203 data, and in this folder I'm simply going to create a geodatabase. So this geodatabase will be where all of our working files end up. We can save our files out to other places once we've finished working on them, but we're going to require a geodatabase pretty much for every activity that we do through the semester. So in this case, I'm going to call this EVB203 file. And then if we simply click on that, you'll see now that our name is down here, and we will add that. And now we've updated our default geodatabase to access our D drive, external USB drive, and look for this file. We can simply click apply and click OK. So now that we've actually created our geodatabase, we've told our software to store relative path names, we can actually go ahead and save our ArcMap that we've created. So if we go to File, Save As, we can place that into our D drive EVB data, and you'll see that the file geodatabase is showing up here now that we've just created. I'm going to call this World Template. Click Save, and we've now saved our map document to our external hard drive linked to the geodatabase that's also on our external drive. This means that when we open this map document up on a different computer, in a different lab, for a different reason, it will automatically find its geodatabase and its related files on your external drive. So in here at the moment we're looking at a table of contents on this side, and it has a tab called layers, and there are no layers, and as we can see over this side here there are no data, and we basically have a blank screen. So we would like to be able to add data to our file here, and in order to do that we're going to need to tell ArcGIS where to look for data files. This button just here, ArcCatalog, opens the catalog window. This allows you to access and manage data, so it allows you to copy, paste, move data between different folders or different databases. And over this side you can see, because I've got a map saved, we have a set of points, and you'll also notice here in the catalogue that the map documents themselves show up. So this is the world template that we've just created. Now simply by drag and drop I can move a set of points, in this case, or a shapefile over, and you'll see now that in the table of contents here we have example points present, and they are symbolized by a small dark dot. So now we have two sidebars. We have our table of contents on this side, we have our catalogue, which shows us all of the folders and directories that we have access to currently. If we would like to add more directories, we can connect to other folders in here, and from this location we can actually create new folders. So we can actually create directory structures from within catalog to create or move and store and organize our data. So now we can see that we've got a kind of a graph happening in front of us here. We have a set of point locations in space that are present here, And if we right click on our layer at this side and select Open Attribute Table, we can see that there are a number of attributes stored with each of our features. So in this case here, this is an example of using the Geo app. I've collected information about a particular tree species here, and if we highlight a record, we can then see that record highlighted out in our graph. If we want to stop highlighting features, we can simply select the control button and select other features in here. But if we choose to stop highlighting features or stop selecting, clicking in the top corner, left clicking in the top corner there, will stop the selection process. So we've got our data, it's being graphed, displayed by its latitude and longitude here, and now we would like to look at how that would map. What would the map look like with this data placed on it? In the View tab here, we've been looking at the data itself, almost like looking at a spreadsheet. We can go to our Layout View. So Layout View will now take you to a page setup and print layout that will create a map for us. So this is the window of our data, but we can also include other cartographic features, other objects, notations, text and information within and around our map window itself. When you would like to actually interrogate the data or adjust data or look at compare shapefiles or look at properties, it's always best to go back to your data view, because you're able to effectively zoom in and out, move around the window easily. It tends to get a little more difficult if you attempt to do this in your layout view. It is possible to do, but it's not quick or easy to do, and you need to sort of select window tools rather than just being able to zoom in and out and move things around. So when it comes to working with the map and creating the final map product, we will use the layout view. For managing our data and undertaking geospatial analysis, we'll work within our data view.